Welcome to Maheepathi Talks. As we know that regularly we are coming on live and inviting all the intellectuals to share their knowledge. Now today we have got Mr. T. Suneel Kumar, no, who has got more than a decade of experience, no, who has done his masters and bachelors in English language literature, and he has received many degrees, and he is also the expert in the teaching, especially as he has done his bachelors in education also. And not only he has got expertise in teaching ELT, but also he is a trainer on soft skills area also. He has got international exposure. He has been to Oman and Muscat, I mean, and he has trained over there the students, and he is a mentor for many students. No, he guides the people at the global level, no, which is the better and how you can go ahead. As a part of today's talk, I thank you, Sunil Kumar, for giving us the time. Today, the
You're
topic
most
that is
welcome.
going to talk is the power of intrapersonal communication. We always talk about interpersonal communication, but there's a new topic for everyone, that is intrapersonal communication. Now, I invite Sunil Kumar, the expert in the area of soft skills, who is going to talk on the topic, the power of intrapersonal communication. Over to you, Sunil. Welcome.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks for your opportunity given, and I'm immensely pleasured that I have an invitation from you to just speak in your Maheepathi Talks, one of the best talks which the whole Twin Cities have. So I'm really fortunate enough to just participate in Maheepathi Talks, and this is my second talk. I think I remember. So, so thanks for the platform, sir. I'm just trying to share my views on one of the topics and one of the finest topics of all about intrapersonal communications. We need to understand this is not just an interpersonal communication; it is intra. So let us see what exactly the intrapersonal communication speaks about and what exactly it is, and in which way that really helps us, and what are the things that we need to learn from this intrapersonal communication. So this my talk is all about these outputs, whatever I just mentioned right now. So let me share my screen towards the topic, and we'll just begin the topic with a small code which talks something about. Yeah, sir, is my screen visible, sir?
Yeah, it is visible, Sunil. You can put it in the slide mode,
Yes, sir.
presentation mode. Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, sir, shall I go ahead?
Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So thank you, everybody. This is
But
Sunil.
it is not in presentation mode, Sunil.
It is
Please,
not
could you
showing the
please?
presentation. Yes, sir. Now is it okay,
Now
sir?
now it's okay.
Right, sir. Thank you
Perfect.
so much.
Perfect. Please go ahead.
Yeah, the topic speaks all about intrapersonal communication. And before we jump into the program or before we jump into the topic, uh, we have a wonderful quote on just giving an overall idea on the topic which we are going to discuss within 20-25 minutes. So the most important conversations you will ever have are the ones you have with yourself. So it's given by David Goggins. So my talk is all about how we have to speak. Now, how much important to speak within ourselves. So we also call it as a self conversation. So the topic, the power of intrapersonal communication, why I specified the term called the power, because your communication is a power. Okay, our communication is always a power. So why it is powerful and why we mean it as a power of communications, intrapersonal communications, because which is really important to not to talk with somebody, and before we talk to somebody we need to introspect or we need to speak within ourselves. And what happens if we speak within ourselves? Let us see what exactly it is. So this is going like this: unlock your potential by mastering your inner dialogue, which means we need to just simply speak, because we have a lot of thoughts, we have a lot of ideas, we have a lot of appreciations, and we have a lot of things to do. But the thing is, we do all these things by communicating with somebody else. Because suppose if you're trying to speak with somebody, we'll speak with uh, uh, we'll speak with the people, but we don't know what we are speaking. Or though we know what we are speaking, but still we cannot understand properly, or we cannot justify that communication properly. And to justify what you spoke to somebody, before you speak to that person, and first of all, we need to speak within ourselves. Because when you speak to somebody, maybe they may justify, maybe they say that this is right or wrong, or this is this and this is that, or you may hurt somebody, or you may with your communication we may hurt somebody, or we may discourage somebody, or we may, so there are a lot many reflections. So to not to give a negative reflection on somebody, and first of all, we need to speak within ourselves. Why we need to speak within ourselves? Because this is the best way we can take a better decision. That's why intrapersonal communication, the silent force shaping 70% of daily discussions, profoundly impacts personal growth, well-being, and overall performance. Whatever we speak might justified by somebody, but 70% of all the discussions, whatever we do in a day, must be discussed or must be communicated within ourselves, because it gives a very right decision, and it really good for us for our personal growth and our well-being and our overall performance. So before we speak to somebody, it is always better that we can speak within ourselves, because it is really important. It is really important to really shape our life, because we are the only person to give a negative or a positive. All right. So there is nothing wrong that you can just simply introspect, because at the same time, you also try to shape yourself, or you also try to shape your personality all the time. So that's why I just simply titled this as the power. It has a lot of power to change your life, to change your, to give your personal growth, your well-being, and your overall performance. All right. So that's why intrapersonal communication is always better. As the quote goes, the most important conversations you will ever have are the ones you have with yourself. We need to know what we are speaking. We need to judge what we are doing before. So that is what it is. It's not just an external, it is begins within. All right. Suppose if you just wanted to buy a house, okay, we have a plans to buy a house, and before we try to speak to the one to the market, and first of all we need to introspect. We are introspecting so many times, which leads to a better decision, which is always a good that before we take any decision we need to question ourselves. Okay. uh, it is always better before we fail, we need to check, counter check. So that is what is probably called as an intrapersonal communication. Interpersonal communication has also a small, what we can say, a formula. It is a self-talk. Intrapersonal communication is equal to self-talk, self-reflection, and internal dialogue. So we need to speak within ourselves all the time. Okay, because it is the foundation of your confidence. It gives a right decision making, and it also helps you emotional intelligence. It is not just like speaking it within you, or it is not just have a dialogue, an internal dialogue within you. It is really important to have, to boost your confidence. Because if you feel that you're right, if you feel that you are really good, if you speak, if you feel that you are a better personality, and you, whatever you do, maybe you are doing something with a lot of confidence. So it gives a lot of confidence. It gives a right decision making. When you feel something is really good, and when you feel something is right, then definitely that is by yourself. You cannot depend upon somebody else. You cannot depend on your friends or colleagues, because whenever you try to speak within yourself, whenever you spend talking yourself, and that really leads you a better decision making, and which is also really important to just maintain your emotional intelligence. This is the core of intrapersonal communication, because most of the time we are emotionally imbalanced just because of following somebody's footsteps, just because of following somebody's words, just because of like depends on somebody else. So the question here always that why don't we speak ourselves, or why don't we introspect within ourselves? The moment you just try to speak within yourself, that's why yoga, most of the people now cultivating yoga in all the places. The reason is that you just simply speak yourself silently, or just try to have your own ideas for some time. Try to dream your life, or try to just simply relax yourself to have your own personal dialogue within you. While you're doing your yoga, you cannot speak to somebody else, or you're not trying to communicate with somebody else, but you're trying to communicating within yourself. And that's why the people, those who follow yoga regularly, they are emotionally fit, they are physically fit, they are emotionally fit, and they are always have a fit personality and fit mindset. The only reason is it is just introspection, a self introspection. So it is not just an external dialogue all the time, it is questioning whether it is right or wrong, whether it is good or bad, whether it is okay or not okay. Everything you need to just question. If you feel that something is wrong, that wrong is just maybe stopped by yourself in your own mind. You cannot let somebody say that you're wrong, because you're not trying to speak somebody, you're introspecting yourself. When you feel something is good, that is good for yourself. So that's why just try to have introspection all the time. So this slide is trying to show something about the differences between interpersonal communication as well intrapersonal communications. Okay, so it speaks about intrapersonal communication is it occurs with only oneself, and interpersonal communication is occurs with many people. All right. So whenever we speak to somebody else, there are many things happens. You can share your information with somebody. You can build some relationships. Okay, but when you have like conversation within yourself, you just try to know who you are exactly. It reflects your self image. Okay, you're trying to know who you are exactly. You're trying to know what is your capability. You come to know what is your strength, what is your weakness, where you're really good at. You need to know about your self awareness, and you need to know which kind of decisions that you can make. Okay, and how emotionally that you're really balanced, right? In which way you can think, right? And what are the positives and negatives by yourself. So it's all about you need to know the self image, what you are exactly. Okay, and before we try to judge somebody, or before we try to speak about somebody, it is always important to have a self image and self analysis. So most of the time we can speak, we can say, or trying to comment somebody, they are not good at communication, they are not good at playing cricket, they are not good at doing something. But before we comment on somebody, are we really good at all these things? Are we good at communications? Do you know how much you are really good at communications? And are you really good at playing cricket? Are you really good at taking your own decisions? So these things we may not question all the time, because the moment you question yourself, you can understand who you are exactly. That's why most of the time we try to hide ourselves. Most of the time we try to hide ourselves and trying to comment on somebody and trying to speak about somebody. So in this 21st century, which always encourages everybody to know who you are and what are your capabilities. If you go to an interview, if a student goes to an interview, okay, he or she may not be judged or may not be questioned by the way how they are speaking and the way how they are communicating with the people. And the mode has changed. The mode has now to understand, to know what are the skills do you have, how much communication you have within yourself, how positively that you're trying to think by yourself, right? So first of all, we need to know all these things before we just try to go and try to judge somebody. So here, this slide is trying to show a demarcation between interpersonal communication as well intrapersonal communication. Okay, so intrapersonal communication builds your self-confidence, a lot of clarity, and self-understanding. So you need to have a clarity what you're speaking right now, or what you're speaking with somebody, what sort of decisions that you're taking. And interpersonal communication, which always concentrates on develops your social bonds, teamwork, and mutual understanding. So both are important, but still intrapersonal communication really specifies, because that is the most important part before you just jump into the society. All right. Again, why it is important? What is this intrapersonal communication speaks about? So it is the process of communicating with oneself. I am just repeating the same. The reason is, at least those who are listening and those who are going to listen this definitely know the process of listening and the process of dialogue within yourself. Okay. Why? Because it improves your self-awareness, self-analysis, positive or negative self-talk, and mental rehearsal. Okay, and which occurs silently but powerfully shapes the behavior. All right. This present day student or a small child at home, he or she is not uh, like, it doesn't have a proper behavior. And as a parent or as an elder, and first of all, we need to teach them how to think by themselves. Okay, which really works within, but that really shapes a very great behavior. So that we need to inculcate everywhere in the society now, because people are forgetting themselves. People are forgetting their own capacities and capabilities. All right. So we need to let them understand and to know what exactly it is. So this is what which always talks about, and how this also tries to work or concentrates on your brain's internal working or working system. Okay, and it the uh, prefrontal context or cortex is always like active in planning, reasoning, and decision making. So our brain works in different ways when you start thinking within yourself, because you have to be very active in planning, maybe before, or maybe before this, most of the people just try to depends on somebody by while taking a planning or some reasoning or some decision making. But if you start, we have all the caliber, but we are not uh, I can say that we are not believing in ourselves. Okay, we are not, or we are unable to believe ourselves. We are forgetting believing our own skills, believing our own strengths. That's why most of the time we are trying to depend on somebody for planning or for decision making, and so for so many reasons. But our brain has a capacity for active planning and a good decision making and reasoning. Number two, it engages during self-reflection and mind wandering. What is the default mode network? So, which also helps like to reflect yourself. Your mind works in different ways, but we need to we need to activate a brain, or we need to give some work to the brain to just active and to just give a lot of results. Allow the brain neuroplasticity, allow the brain to reshape thought patterns and habits, right? So our brain works in different capacities. Amygdala impact, that is the brain activity directly influences emotional responses. So we have a lot many things, a lot many functions happens in our brain, but most of the time we are just simply forgetting and neglecting them. The reason is we are trying to depend upon somebody else, and we are habituated to depend on somebody else. So this interpersonal communication says that, which is everything in our own brains, but we need to use it in a better way. What are the impacts of emotional regulation, which we can habituate intrapersonal communication? Okay, we have internal dialogue that processes and manages complex emotions. The moment you start speaking within yourself, okay, though it is right or wrong, the moment you feel something is wrong, and we also have a capacity to know and to justify what is right. So if you are able to take the decision within yourself which is right or wrong, and there ends the matter, you cannot depend upon somebody else. But for a suggestion, we can ask some experts whether it is right or wrong. But we have a capacity, and we have a capacity to know what is right and wrong. At the same time, we also have a capacity to just simply balance our emotions. Number two is always a mindfulness practice. This is very much needed nowadays. Mindfulness. Whatever you do it with mindfulness, which means which reduces amygdala activity by 50%, promoting calm. Okay, we are not hurrying, or we are not depending upon somebody else, or we are not blaming somebody. Either it is blame, or either it is patting up yourself, or either it is good or bad. Everything we are only processing within our own brain. We are not trying to give impact to somebody, but we are trying to give impact to our own brain to just justify what is good and bad, right? And we are trying to question ourselves. The moment, the decision, whatever I take, whether it is right or wrong, because the output, whatever we are trying to give to the people, to be justified within yourself. The moment you feel that is good, which is no harm, then definitely that is good. The third one is all about emotional intelligence, which cultivates stability and self-awareness. The impact of your intrapersonal communication, which really enhances your emotional intelligence. That is very much needed for this 21st century, because wherever you go, you have to have a self-awareness. What do you know about yourself? How people think about yourself? Or what do you know, and what are the skills do you have? When you go to an interview, people will ask you a question all the time: what are the skills do you have? And first of all, we need to know the skills whatever we have before we are trying to writing them on the paper. We can write n number of things on the paper, but still the moment somebody asks a question, the skills whatever you know and I have, then definitely most of the people were really dumb. The reason, they don't have all these skills actually. But before we write something on the paper, before we mention something on the paper, we need to cultivate a habit of knowing ourselves, which we also call it as a self awareness, which really important to just simply enhance your emotional intelligence. That's really important, which prevents escalations. Escalations means, again, help avoid emotional outbursts or suppressions. So without thinking anything, or you give an idea, or you speak a better communication with the people, but that may hurt somebody, okay, and that escalate in a different way. So the moment, whenever you try to think about everything, whatever you're speaking and whatever the actions that you're taking, that really prevents a lot of escalations or a lot of outbursts. We can stop so many things before you know whether it is. If something is hurting you, definitely that hurts somebody. That is the only formula in this. If you feel that something is really hurting you, definitely that hurts everybody. So it is better to not to do the same activity which is affecting you now. But most of the time we do that, we just simply using the same communication which somebody hurts. So which is not, which we cannot do it all the time. So the moment you started introspecting yourself, you can stop so many escalations. Why it is powerful? Why this like intrapersonal communication is powerful? Because it builds self-awareness again, shapes confidence and self-esteem, influence decision making, manages stress and emotion. This is the biggest like a problem in the society now. Everybody is in a stress and everybody is emotionally imbalanced. Either it is a small child, either it is a teenager, or either it is an elder, and everywhere a stress is really dominating in all the people. So if you started questioning yourself, or I'm sorry, if you started speaking it within yourself, I think you can manage a lot of stress. Because if you are trying to speak somebody which really hurts them, then again you feel stressed about because they are shouting on, that is an outburst. So if you cut that communication, cannot hurt somebody, then you can at least reduce some stress, right? So you can manage your stress, you can manage your emotional imbalance. Okay, if you practice your intrapersonal communication, it improves your interpersonal communication too. If you practice questioning yourself, then you have to maintain a right communication with everybody, which is called as interpersonal communication, communicating with everybody. A right communication with everyone really leads you in a right paths, a right decisions, and right life all the time. So which intrapersonal communication is not just speaking within yourself. Of course you're speaking and questioning within yourself, but which really helps you to have a very healthy environment, to spread healthy environment with the society, with a proper right communication with the people. There are a lot many examples in our daily life. Preparing for a presentation, okay, we have to have a positive self-talk. We need to question, right, what we are trying to give, and whether it is going to help them or not. So I have to introspect. People have to introspect themselves. Reflecting after a mistake, it is a self-analysis. You need to question. If you did a mistake, most of the people just simply bluff and simply throwing on somebody. This is not really exactly uh, 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 like doesn't require that doesn't work out in the society. You have to reflect in yourself on all the mistakes what you did. We need to cultivate the habit of submitting all the mistakes what we did. You need to question, analyze yourself, introspect yourself, whether it is right or wrong. If you did a mistake, if we feel that this is mistake, submit. That is always the right path. Setting personal goals, internal dialogue. It's not just speaking within yourself, which means that you also have your personal goals. You have to have your own decision of your own life, what you wanted to become, where you wanted to see yourself after 5 years, after 10 years. What is your life? Okay, in which way you can lead your life. So everything as a question, everything as a question all the time. Managing nervousness. Okay, most of the people feels nervous when they speak in front of the people or they're standing on the stage. Right. So before that, you have to just simply question you're supposed to do from the stage now, so that you can minimize or you can at least stop your nervousness, because you need to know what you are trying to speak. We cannot speak blindly without having any idea onto the stage. So we need to know what we're supposed to know, what we are going to speak. So our intrapersonal communication really helps in so many ways in a daily life. Okay, if you're trying to participate in a program, you need to question yourself in which whether it is going to help you out. Is it okay? Can I do this? So everything, the decision you're taking, that has to question yourself. Okay, positive versus negative self-talk. Is it positive self-talk? Because intrapersonal communication, which always as a positive or at the same time and negative too. So what is that positive self-talk? I can handle this. So you need to boost yourself, or we need to just simply push ourselves forward. So I can handle this. I have prepared well. Mistakes help me grow. So everything and everywhere we have to have a positive self-talk. And introspection is also in a negative way. That is, I'm not good enough. So we are labeling ourselves, I'm not good. I cannot speak. I cannot do this. I cannot communicate with somebody. I cannot face an interview. I cannot speak onto the stage. So these are all a negative self-talk, but we need to change them in a positive way all the time. That intrapersonal communication help this, because this is a self-talk that you going to you have to know yourself what you cannot do. Okay, I always fail. Why you are failing? Again, you know why you're failing. You know why why you are feeling nervous when you're on a stage. Okay, so you know what is which is really impossible by you. So we know everything, all the positives and all the negatives, but we need to know to change all the negatives into a positive whenever we started thinking or questioning ourselves. What do you know yourself and what you are speaking? So a self introspection, whatever do you have in your mind, which always really help us out to be in a better citizen in this particular society. So self talk is always positive as well and negative, but most of the time we need to make a negative into a positive, then only things will really possible. What are the benefits of a strong intrapersonal communication? What are the benefits? You have higher confidence and motivation, because whatever you do, everywhere we want a high, or we are expecting a high. We want somebody clap for us, or we are expecting somebody right really praising us. Okay, or we expect somebody always take take our own decisions, or they're expecting a better decision from ourselves. So all things are really happens with your high confidence and motivation. The moment you are really confident enough the things what you're doing, and definitely that is really goes in the right way. And the moment you motivate yourself to do the whatever the things are that things that you are doing in a day, then that really help us out. So the benefits of a strong intrapersonal communication, which really gives a lot of confidence and a lot of high and a lot of motivation. Number two is a better emotional regulations, which are a better emotional intelligence, the way you think, the way you manage things, the way you take a decision, right? So we are becoming emotionally strong. We are becoming emotionally positive, right? And the third one is a stronger resilience under pressure. So how to take a decision, how to behave ourselves under pressure. Everybody is working under a lot of pressure nowadays in all the fields, right? So if you know, or if you question yourself, definitely you can understand how to work under pressure, how to not just to work, how to work happily under pressure, because you know what you're doing, you know what, you're not taking that as a pressure, then obviously you can work something really good with a lot of smile and with happiness. So this interpersonal communication, which always gives us a very strong resilience, and to know and to like manage ourselves under pressure. It proved improved a problem solving skills. It really improves, you know, how to solve a lot of problems, how to speak to the people, how to solve an issue, right? We can become very great personalities after that. Enhance interpersonal communication. Once again, you need to know how to speak with the people. So there are a lot of benefits, there are a lot of things, all right? So the a saying goes like, a small suggestion to everybody is, so practice this for 10 to 15 minutes daily to mindfulness meditation, to quiet the mind and observe thoughts without judgment. So just don't try to speak with anyone, at least for 10 to 15 minutes in a day, anywhere, anytime, any place. Just dedicate yourself for yourself. All right? Dedicate yourself for yourself. So you have to spend your mindfulness. You have to spend some time to know what are the thoughts running in your mind, what decisions that you are going to take in this particular day, or what are the conversations that you're going to give, what are the decisions that you're going to take in a day. So just spend 10 to 15 minutes and to think what you're doing. So that really gives a good results. It engaged in a journaling, that is, a regular journal reduces stress by 23% in 12 weeks, offering a space for reflection and emotional processing. So you need to journal by yourself. That really reduces your stress by 23% in 12 weeks. So just simply think, your 10 to 15 minutes of time in a day, which really reduces almost 25% of your stress in within 12 weeks. So that's really important, because we're all working under pressure a lot of every day. So we have to practices that really help us out. Use positive affirmation, that is, actively repeat phrases like I am capable. So we have to know and practicing ourselves to just simply pat ourselves everything. I'm good. I'm capable to do something. I will succeed by doing this. All right. I'm really good at communication. So at least, because there is no one in the world to just simply like pats you like that. There is. I always try to say the same this statement in the all my classes. There is nobody in the world is try to praise you ever. Okay, nobody praises, not even our parents, not even our colleagues. No one in the world just praise you, they cannot praise. Okay, but we can praise by ourselves, which is priceless. You can praise, you can pat yourself, you can encourage yourself, you can speak positively by yourself. If you feel that nobody's listening to you, and you just try to listen yourself, try to speak within yourself, encourage by yourself. Okay, spend some time for within yourself. So these are all the practices that we can do, which is simply shape our life with a lot of confidence, with a lot of positiveness, with a lot of mindfulness. Okay, so reflective questioning too. Ask yourself problem probing questions to gain clarity. If you feel that somebody is not giving a proper answers, somebody is reluctant to listen to you, just question by yourself. Question what really matters for you. All right. Question what, though it is very small, just question whether it is right or wrong. What can I learn from this? Don't ask somebody, don't ask your friends, don't ask your parents, don't ask your colleagues. Just question. Before you do something, question what am I learn from this? Or before you just give a suggestion to somebody, question yourself whether it is going to work out or is it right or wrong. Okay, If you're trying to play cricket, just question yourself, am I really play a good cricket? Or at least by boost yourself, yes, I can play, or I can hit a century at least. So we just always try to introspect, we always try to question, because that really helps cultivating a positive environment within us. If you are positively filled, definitely things will, your outcome will be a positive one. So that really helps us out. So there are better people in the world. There are most of the people are always trying to have a positive questioning and introspection within themselves. Okay, and now we call them as the greatest personalities in the world. Oprah Winfrey, okay, and Michael Jordan, and as well like Tesla, I forgot his name, the richest man on earth, Elon Musk. So
Elon Musk.
yeah, there are people in the world who really reached a greatest heights just because of their mindfulness. Okay, if you listen, Oprah Winfrey, always, she is a brutally harassed in the world. She is, she was brutally harassed by many people in the world, but still her mindfulness, her positive thought, her positive attitude. Now we can see her on a greatest heights. Michael Jordan, he was a zero before he enters into a basketball, and he was zero not just only 1 year, always almost 5 to 6 years. But after that, those who knows basketball, everybody knows the name of Michael Jordan, because people praise him as the god of basketball. He reached that particular heights just because of his own mindfulness. We can take an example of Elon Musk, the best example ever. Elon Musk is the only person on earth who always questions himself. Most of his interviews, he uses those lines that I cannot question my employees, and before I question myself whether I'm going to do this right or wrong, or whether is it good or bad, whether I can ask this question to him or her or not. So most of the decisions, whatever he has taken as of now, maybe it is a Tesla, maybe it is blue chip, or maybe it is all his Twitter, or now we call it as a Next. So everything and everywhere, it is his introspection then that came into the existence. So our greatest people in the world, we have a lot of examples from them. So we need to learn the things from the people, because they reach the heights just because of their introspection. So that is the best way that we can judge ourselves, at the same time judge the world too. Before I conclude the day of my topic, then I conclude by saying like this: intrapersonal communication is not merely an innate trait, but a learnable skill. It is not going to be, or it is not too costlier, or it is not available in the market, or we cannot order it in Amazon, right? It is within us. Okay, it is a learnable skill. We can learn the skill. We need to nurture ourselves. We need to know, we have to inculcate, or we need to habituate, then that is really worth to do something. So this is a skill which is of very free, or which is of free in the market, or which is free within ourselves, but we need to know how to use it in a proper way. By intentionally engage in your inner dialogue, you can profoundly transform both your personal and professional life. It is not just elevating your personal life, it also elevate your professional life. Okay, consistent daily practice will lead to profound self mastery, allowing you to navigate challenges with greater clarity and purpose. Remember, your inner world is the ultimate architect of your outer reality. So, you have a beautiful world within your heart or within your mind. Okay, but first of all, we need to search that inner beauty of the world before you search some beauty externally. So this is my presentation, which always speaks about intrapersonal communication, the beauty of see your inner beauty before you see an external beauty outside, right? So let us all try to check that, because this is one of the best skill which uh, everybody needs, that we need to inculcate. So thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for listening. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Sunil. It was wonderful, awesome. No, I can say that. No, this is a skill which you can master. You can master everything. I can say that. No,
Thank you so
so
much.
it was uh, very exhilarating to listen to the way you have taken us to our inner journey, how it's very important, and you give best examples and all. Thank you, Sunil. Thank you for your time. And I request all the viewers for watching this video. Thank you very much, and subscribe the channel and like the video, and also click on the bell notification. And stay in touch. We are coming up with many topics in future. And once again, I thank Sunil for your. No, I can see the decades of experience, international experience, how you made this session very lively with examples and all. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Have a nice time.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks so much for giving this opportunity.
Thank you.